It's
Oh yeah, it'll move like crazy.
oh my gosh, I didn't realize it would move already. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I have a lot of new subscribers, which is crazy. After I posted my last video about finding out that I was pregnant, I gained a few hundred new people, which is really exciting, but I just feel terrible that I have not posted since then. It has been a minute. I just found out and I was like 4 weeks and a day or something like that when I found out and I am over 10 weeks now. So I kind of wanted to do an update about my first trimester. I know I still have a few weeks left of my first trimester, but there's just been a lot that I haven't shared, and I just feel like the best way to do that is to compile this all into a sort of first trimester video. It's just what makes most sense to me. So I am just gonna go ahead and start explaining. First off, there's a lot of things that you don't really expect to feel when you conceive post-infertility. You know, you imagine it for so long and you just kind of like picture this overwhelming joy and like fulfillment, and for me, even though yes, don't get me wrong, I am so grateful, I've been so happy, but infertility kind of has some lingering trauma. Unfortunately, it kind of leaves some scars on you, especially when you're, you know, constantly reading a pregnant woman's worst nightmare about loss and, you know, other things. I've just kind of immersed myself in this community and I've just heard story upon story upon story of like every week imaginable, and of course I didn't really expect that it would like get to me by the time that I was pregnant, but it just kind of has. I, you know, hit a certain week and then I think back to the story I read where somebody had a loss at that week, and then I feel like I'm holding my breath because I just, sometimes it feels surreal that it's happening for me and that I haven't experienced a loss. I don't know if this sounds bad or if that really makes sense, but and like I might have had a chemical pregnancy, but might have had doesn't really, I don't know. I don't really feel like that counts. Not to say chemical pregnancies don't count, but just in my case, I don't know. Just was unsure about that situation. I'll link that video somewhere. But so let me just kind of start from the beginning. Okay, so I have to take progesterone. It's a vaginal suppository. It's not the most fun thing to take. It's messy and gross and kind of uncomfortable. And one of the major downsides to taking it is that, you know, it kind of flushes you out. It's a pill form, but it turns liquid and it just like leaks. And during my first few weeks of pregnancy, like after I found out I was pregnant, I bled. And that was kind of stressful. It was like, every single morning I woke up, I would wipe, I would have blood, and I would be like holding my breath till the next time I had to go to the bathroom, and would, you know, check for blood, and it would gradually be lighter throughout the day. So that was kind of how I knew that things were okay. It's like, okay, yes, I have my morning bleeding because this medicine's like flushing me out, but it's getting lighter, so I just, you know, gonna try and relax, it's fine. Well, oh gosh, I don't remember how far along I was, but I was like 5 or 6 weeks along or something like that, and I actually had like, if you get grossed out really easily, you might want to skip past this, just forewarning you. But I had a like large, very fleshy substance come out of me, and I was certain that I had a miscarriage. I was so sure that I had a miscarriage. I was just before 6 weeks, or just hit 6 weeks, because I had my 6 week and like couple day ultrasound a few days after that. So I was freaking out. I was crying to my husband. I called the advice nurse, and she kept saying it was old blood. I know it wasn't old blood. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was weird. I had an alien, I don't know. That's like a horrible way to explain it. But yeah, I just, to this day, don't know. It didn't really necessarily quite look like a miscarriage, but it also didn't look like anything that should have been coming out of me. So just do with that what you will. But I was really upset, and she told me that because I wasn't bleeding heavily and because I wasn't in pain, she didn't think that I was having a miscarriage, and she was kind of like, maybe just your ultrasound's in like 2 days, maybe just hold off until your ultrasound, and just keep an eye on it and come in if you really think you need to. And so I did hold off, but only because it was really late at night, hardly had any pee in me, and I was just like, I'm gonna go take another pregnancy test. I have only taken one, the one that I found out I was pregnant. I haven't taken any more, not before that, not after that, aside from that night, because it's just scary. It's scary, you know, having such a good thing. You don't want to do anything that makes you feel like you might be risking it going away, like seeing a line get lighter or something like that. So I took my pregnancy test, and I will show you. The top one is my first pregnancy test, and this one was my pregnancy test that night. Now this kind of looks bad, but if you're kind of experienced with all this, you know that this is the test line, this is the control line, and the test line is darker than the control line because I had so much HCG in my system that it pulled the dye from this line. So this is a good thing, not a bad thing. It would have been a bad thing if this line was light and this line was darker. So when I saw how strong that line was, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until my ultrasound, see what happens. And I kind of felt better after that. You know, it gave me a lot of peace, and I wasn't worried quite so much. And just so you know, though, quick little pause, I am going to insert clips of my first ultrasound in here. So it's not just gonna be me sitting down talking the whole time. I did film my ultrasound, and so the first one I wasn't allowed to film, the one that I had a couple days after that incident. I wasn't allowed to film, but I did just record like sound, but I don't know if I'm gonna put that in because it's not really that exciting. This was my ultrasound from that 6 week and 4 day ultrasound. We did see a heartbeat, we saw a fetal pole, everything looked as it should. So that was very comforting, and it was surreal, like seeing the heartbeat. That was a very surreal moment. I think my husband and I were just like, wow, this is actually happening, you know? And we both still have these moments of like, where it doesn't feel real, but then like something will happen and we're like, wow, this is actually happening. That's another thing about being pregnant after infertility, is that it doesn't feel real, and you just want it to feel real, and you want to like have it fully processed and just soak it all up and just wholeheartedly believe it. And I'm more at that point now than I was before, but it just gets so hard because it doesn't feel real. So after that, as far as my symptoms and everything else goes, like from the point I found out I was pregnant to this point in my story where I'm like close to 7 weeks, the very beginning, I didn't have a lot of pregnancy symptoms. I really just had sore boobs. I had some cramps, period symptoms. It wasn't one of those things like I thought, because I'm so in tune with my body and I just was gonna know if I was pregnant, you know, like it wasn't one of those things. I had no idea, aside from just a gut feeling that I felt good about it. So I did start to get queasy, actually. I should say a couple days before I tested, felt a little queasy, and I remember having this conversation with my husband and my friend that I didn't know if I was like hallucinating it or imagining it, because that's what you do in your 2 week wait, but it did feel a little queasy. And then slowly that queasiness turned into nausea, and I haven't thrown up. So the nausea lasted until like week 9. And I will say it kind of went from like me being nauseous to me just not really having an appetite, me having some food aversion, but still being able to eat. So I count myself lucky because I haven't been throwing up. I haven't been, bedridden and sick or anything like that. It's just kind of queasy. Food doesn't taste the same. It's very strange. Exhaustion. The exhaustion was the worst. I work a 40-hour week full-time job, and it is a very fast-paced job, and I just was dragging behind emotionally, physically. It was just not good, and that lasted pretty much until about 9 weeks too. I'm still a lot more tired than normal, but I do not feel like a zombie anymore, and I am so thankful for that. It's a lot easier to function now and feel like a normal human. So I'm thankful for that. So because I don't have a high risk pregnancy, I kind of have a normal pregnancy routine as far as like doctor's appointments and things like that. I haven't even met my midwife yet. I meet her at the end of this month. And after that, I don't have another appointment till like a month later. And it gets a little bit more towards the end, but for the most part, you just don't see your doctor a ton when you don't have a high risk pregnancy. So after that initial ultrasound, that was kind of like all the extra stuff they had to do for me since I was a fertility patient. So what I decided to do, since I had that 6-week ultrasound and I didn't get to actually hear the heartbeat, we went to an outside ultrasound place, and that is the footage that we got, and we were able to actually see baby move around, which was, I'll just kind of show you these pictures. You'll see in the clip way better than the pictures, but that for me was a really big turning point. Seeing the baby move around as much as it was, and hearing that heartbeat, and mostly the movements, even more so than the heartbeat. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, wow, there's actually life inside of me, and it is like moving around and playing and doing its thing in there. And that was just a moment of perfect awe for me. So I will go ahead and insert that for you to watch.
Look at that little gummy bear.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It does.
It looks like a baby now. What? Definitely looks like a baby now. Wow.
The little legs. Little hand up.
It did not look like a baby before.
No?
No. It was like so early, Wow.
With the little feet. Right tip.
It's
Oh yeah. It'll move like crazy.
oh my gosh, I didn't realize it would move already. Wow.
It's like a little worm.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. What? Baby is awake. Wow. That's crazy.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
So as you can see, that was a really special moment. I don't even think that video really like captured all of the emotions I was experiencing, because it's like it's so much that you can't even let it all out at that moment. It's just awe. You just can't believe that it's real. Still, I go like this from believing it's real to not believing, I don't want to say not believing, but just having a hard time knowing that it's real. It's just it's a strange experience. And if you've been pregnant after infertility, you probably relate a little bit. But we did get this heartbeat animal from that appointment. which is really cool. I also should note that my husband is playing video games with his friend right now, so if you hear him talking, that's why, and I'm sorry. I hadn't posted in such a long time for many reasons. One being that right as I got pregnant, like at the center of her treatments, we moved. My house is still a disaster because I have been so exhausted that like I haven't had time to, or I should say energy, to decorate, to unpack, to really make myself feel good about my home, which has been kind of hard for me because it's like, okay, where do I film? Where do I like take pictures for Instagram? How do I produce content when I feel like I am currently living in a pigsty because I can't function like a normal human? And then on top of that, I was really struggling for a bit there with some strange emotions. I was feeling, even though I wasn't like throwing up, I was feeling really, really drained, and a big part of that was because of work. Having to do my job and dealing with like some of the stuff at that time that was going on at my job, and also being pregnant. And Coda, out, Bubba. Dog keeps pushing the door open. He's so mad at me right now. Being as exhausted as I was, I didn't feel good. I was feeling just so sad and disappointed that that's how I was feeling while I was pregnant. Like I felt guilty. Like, you're pregnant, you should just be happy and thankful. It doesn't matter how sick you feel. It doesn't matter how exhausted or stressed out you are. Like, you just need to like be happy, and you know, you're so lucky. And what about all those other people who haven't had their babies yet, like, or gotten pregnant yet? I just was beating myself up really hard and feeling super guilty, and it was really hard to explain, especially a lot of the women in my community are going through what I went through, and I just didn't want to, you know, nobody wants to sound like they're complaining after such a blessing, because that wasn't my intention at all, and it's not my intention now. It just wasn't as smooth or easy as I was hoping it would be. So to sum it up, I now am starting to feel more like myself. I am only 10 weeks, and I most definitely already have bump. I have been posting bump dates on Instagram, and it's there. I bought some maternity pants already. Yep, and I'm wearing them right now. I got a bump. I will I'm gonna try and show you kind of, but these pants are like the kind that with the thing that goes over your belly, and my belly is not really that big, so it's not like that needed, to be honest. But I just got this kind and the other kind to kind of see what I like better. But that's what's going on there. And I have had these little moments of feeling insecure because I'm only 10 weeks, and a lot of my mom and like everyone has told me that they didn't really show until a lot further along. But those feelings have been kind of in the minority, just because waking up every day and seeing that there helps my heart to accept that this is real. Like, it makes me happy every morning. I see it and I'm just like, you're there, like you're really there. And so just, yeah, I don't know, I'm just really thankful that I'm showing early. That almost made me emotional. Not even talking about the baby moving made me cry almost, but getting to just see this little person growing inside of me, it just really helps me every day to wrap my mind around all of this. I'm starting to feel a lot more like myself, and I want to start putting out more content. I'm not making any promises to a schedule because I do work 40 hours a week, and I have a husband and a dog, and we spend time together and love on each other, and I am exhausted still, and I am gonna try to do my best, but I don't do this full time, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just really thankful for all of the encouragement that so many of you have given me. And it's not even just about the things that some of you have said about me specifically, but so many of you commenting on my posts just thanking God or saying God is good or praise God. It's just, oh, you don't know how worth it makes all of this feel to me. This whole experience was hard in a way that is really difficult to explain to another person if they haven't experienced it themselves. But I have learned so much and grown so much because of it, and I feel like I am a better mom now than I could have been 2.5 years ago, for certain. I guess what I'm trying to get at is just that me going through what I went through was so worth it if it gets to give somebody hope, or God gets to show the world how he worked because of it. Because I had to wait for this baby wasn't just an answered prayer for me and my husband. This baby was an answered prayer for our family and our friends, and friends off the internet that we've never met before, and strangers off the internet. Just so many people have had us in their prayers, and because of the fact that we had to wait and experience what we experienced, now God gets to be glorified because of it, and that just makes it all feel so much more worth it to me. So I feel like all that came out really weird, but I hope you get what I'm saying. I don't know. So all of that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me, and if you would like to follow along with the rest of my pregnancy and get to see the baby at the end of it, because I'm definitely vlogging my birth, okay? Definitely doing that. Subscribe and maybe like this video if you like it. That'd be cool. It feels so weird to ask people to do that. You know what? If you don't like it, don't like it. It's fine. Anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.